Hello, my name is Jack Cobourn, and this is the Founders Vlog for the week of June 29th, 2026. If you saw this Monday's Pieces of Pep, you'll know that Xbox prices have risen because components are hard to come by thanks to graphics card now being used for artificial intelligence. That's what I want to talk about today, AI. I just don't understand why AI is so prevalent now. I just think it's so dumb that we are using it. I think it's so wasteful. I think, we really shouldn't be doing this with AI. I mean, try to explain to a caveman that this magic glowing box that needs electricity that we get from coal or, God forbid, nuclear power, that we dig out of the ground or that we formulate using fission reactions. Try explaining a fission reaction to a caveman. Can now produce cave paintings that would have been, prevalent, 5 million years ago on the wall of a cave in France. And now we can just do it. As a creative person, I just find AI to be the dumbest possible thing to use. Have I tried it? Sure, I've given it a go. I don't really see the point of it. I think it's somewhat silly. I think it's somewhat, dumb, to be perfectly honest with you. AI is just not something worth my time or my effort. Now, that being said, like I said, have I tried AI? Yeah, it's okay. It's not, life-shattering. I think as a creative person, AI is just dumb, and the fact that people use AI to solve their creative problems is just a waste of time. As the comedian Stavros Hakias said on a recent podcast, why do we have AI making art, but we're doing the jobs? Shouldn't it be the other way around? We're doing the art, the AI is doing the jobs, and I can kind of agree with that. I don't want AI doing the jobs either, because then it takes jobs away from human beings, and, everybody should have the right to a job if they want it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I have a job, I want my job, I do my job. I guess, in a way, I don't know, I just think that, I guess in a way I'm a little bit privileged because I have a degree in history with minor in journalism from a college. And basically what a degree in history buys you is a degree in research. Now, I'm a really good researcher. For my day job, I, can find most things anybody asks about. For this, Alsatian Productions, I did my research when I, started the channel. I found a games journalism website that I could use to figure out what games were coming out and, interview press people and that kind of stuff. But I just don't get why people need to use AI. And I don't know, it just seems highly wasteful. There's an artist I follow on Facebook, and she was talking last week about how somebody asked her to do a children's book, and she came back with her quote, and they said, well, this is why we use AI, that your price is too expensive. And it's just like, okay, but your artwork's going to be like everything else, and it's going to look dumb. This person could actually tune it to your actual creative vision, and it would be worth the money to do. I mean, I made my own logo for Alsatian Productions. I did that in Microsoft Paint. I did all the idents myself as well. I did, the voice, the pictures, the silly Ralph voice at the end of every ident. I mean, that's me doing that. Didn't use AI. I also don't use AI editing. I use CapCut. It does have AI tools, but I don't do the AI work with it. I actually do the editing myself. Simplistically, usually I can get what I want done in one take, and usually do it all in one take because, one, I think it's more truthful that way to do it all in one take. And two, I couldn't be bothered to play around with it. Now, when I start filming like playgroup with other people, I will be playing around with it so I can have different people's viewpoints of different levels of games. But at the moment, I'm just doing the video, cutting out any of the dead feed that I have, and then slapping the ident on it and exporting it. Now, if you've seen this week's Sunday Driver that came out where I was racing Lotus 32B in the Tasman series, two things about that. I did not use any form of AI to do the introduction to the Tasman series part of that. I used Wikipedia. Again, this is why I have a research degree. I used Wikipedia for that, for like the driver things, and then I just had my iPod and I read it out off of that. I also used a website called Primo Tipo, who the guy is a freelance motorsport writer from Australia, and he puts out stories about motor racing history. So I used some of his stuff to explain it, but also I have 20 years of motorsport magazines off of camera here to my right, and I just pulled the motorsport magazine that had the article in the Tasman series from like 20 years ago, looked at it, and kind of just explained what the Tasman series was based on that. Now, I understand people don't have the luxury of being able to do research, but I mean, we have Google, and Google, even without Gemini, is a perfectly fantastic thing to use. I use it. I mean, that's how I found Primo Tipo. I went looking, I guess, Australian touring car racing. That's what I went looking for, and his article came up about the greatest ever Australian touring car race, and I read through the article and saved the website. Didn't need AI to, tell me about Ian Gaghan beating Alan Moffat at Bathurst at Easter 1972. Mark Bissett did a fantastic job. So I don't really get this. I mean, I have colleagues who do research all day at my day job. They don't really use AI. Sometimes, they'll ask ChatGPT a question, and I'm always like, why? Just look it up on Google or look it up in the books you have. But for the most part, it's, they're doing just research. And they don't really need AI. I don't get this obsession with AI. I don't understand why we need to have so many AI data centers. It's all just laziness to me on my part. Like, it's all just incredibly lazy. People don't want to have a thought and take the time to do research because, if you do the research, you stumble upon great things. I mean, I've stumbled upon so many great websites over the years looking for a certain type of thing to learn about stuff that, that's kind of how I found the Wikipedia to begin with. I didn't know what it was, but it had the answer I was looking for a school paper back when I was in 7th grade. And I just used it, and it, I fact-checked it. I mean, it wasn't too difficult to figure it out. But I'm also so confused about why we need such big AI data centers. I guess to make, everything work, but it just seems so wasteful. We talk about the fact that these data centers are using up water, and technically, yeah, they are. And you can say, well, it's wastewater, and it's being converted into steam, and it'll come back, as rain, and, all this. But it's still, water is a finite resource. I mean, it keeps shifting around the world. but it's a finite resource, and I don't know. I just think that's kind of silly. I was talking to a friend, a colleague at work, and he explained that the government uses mineral oil baths to do their, data servers for AI on that kind of stuff, and it circulates through. I think that's a reasonable, probably very expensive, but reasonable solution. But I just feel like we're all so obsessed with, trying to get everything done for the least amount of effort and time spent, but we're losing track of, the things we like to do as, human beings. Like, I don't know. I'm not a great artist. I mean, take a look at the Alsatian Productions logo. It's not, it's not like award-winning. I mean, I am not, I didn't use Photoshop. I just drew what I think a German Shepherd looks like in Microsoft Paint and, said, oh, that'll be good enough. And the only reason I have a logo to begin with is because when I first started Alsatian Productions, which is now the Uppish Rainbow 16, my gamertag channel on YouTube, which we're not putting anything up on as of this moment, so it just has a couple of the original episodes of Pieces of Path from a couple years ago. Like, there's nothing fantastic about it. I was talking to my friend Mike, and he said, oh, I don't watch YouTube channels that just have the, the letter instead of the logo. And I was like, oh. And so I just drew that logo up, and I think it looks okay. I mean, at some point, I'll, pay my friend Hannah, who's a talented artist, to redraw it, but at the moment, I just like the do-it-yourself aesthetic, which is something you lose by doing AI. So, in conclusion, let's stop using AI. Let's start making game consoles reasonably priced again, stop using graphics cards and RAM for everything else under the sun, rather than more computer memory and better graphics to play games. I mean, you heard me complain a few weeks ago about Voidling Bound not working on my game, or that Goblin Company, or that Zombutcher didn't work on that, and, I mean, I don't know, I feel like we're in this graphics arms race. Let's at least make the graphics arms available to be used. I mean, I don't want to have to find out that, oh, I'm paying for an AMD Radeon graphics card and it's like $9 billion now because every other one is being used up by AI. So you can create stupid pictures of, dogs playing video games. Like, let me just draw you a German Shepherd holding a Super Nintendo controller, and you can just use that. Like, that's all basically what I did. The original logo for Alsatian Productions was a German Shepherd holding a Super Nintendo controller. It just didn't fit the YouTube roundel, so I just shrunk it to a German Shepherd and thought that would be good enough. I think it is. But I don't draw. If somebody contacts me and says, hey, can you do drawing for this? Yeah, sure. It's going to look terrible, but I'll give it a shot. And you can, pay me whatever you think it's worth. Like, yeah. So, in conclusion, this is what I'm thinking. AI needs to go away. We need to stop using AI for posters. Bands, I know you don't make a lot of money, but throw an artist like a 20 or 40 to draw you a poster for your upcoming show. And then you can just add the bar or the venue to it as you please with the date and the time. And then you just have it. It's there and ready to go. If you want to draw a children's book, hire an actual artist, pay the money, and do it because, that's a good way of doing things, is, hiring creative people to do the job the way you want it because, hey, if you pay them, they'll do the job the way you want it. And if you want me to, review your video games and, produce content for it, don't make it AI. I'm not going to play an AI game. Oh, one last thing. So, that Tasman series video. This is the funniest part of how bad AI is. Now, I've shot that Tasman series video a couple times over. Couldn't get the sound right for it. Figured it out. It was a speaker issue on the laptop that I'm recording this on, combined with a microphone that wasn't quite working properly when it was hooked up to the computer monitor behind me. So my voice was real low, the engine was real high, and I changed the volume, and I got it to fit the way I wanted it to. But I put it through CapCut to see if I could get it fixed without realizing really that it was an AI tool to do that. And when it did it, it took the sound of my voice and turned it into the engine and tire noise of the car. So basically, it sounded like I was a demented 4-year-old hanging out the school bus window making car noises and, going brrr, brrr, scream, all around the track. And I just thought, oh, this is dumb. This is why AI doesn't work. It's not, it's so stupid. Let's get rid of this. But we're clogging up YouTube with this nonsense, and, it's just, like, clickbaity stuff we're using AI for. At least it's telling me, hey, this is clickbaity. Don't click on this. This is AI. This is dumb. This is terrible. So, finally, let me just leave you with this. AI is terrible. Unfortunately, it's not going away anytime soon, but we can work together to make it go away faster. And I would highly recommend, if you're a creative type or know people who would like to use your creative services, advertise yourself as such and tell those people to use you to get their stuff done. Otherwise, they're just going to go to AI, and it's so dumb. And their, books are going to look terrible. Their posters are going to look terrible. The voiceovers they do for their videos are going to look terrible. And it's just going to be awful. So, stop using AI. Give us gamers our graphics cards back. Let consoles become a whole lot cheaper so that by the time GTA 6 comes out in November, we all have the consoles to play them on, and we all have the graphics cards to use them for. So, yeah. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about how bad AI is. And, my name is Jack Cobourn. This has been the Alsatian Productions Founders Vlog for the week of June 29th, 2026. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to be notified about our next non-AI influenced video. And continue to watch me scramble around and play games and be bad at them and, not use AI to cover any of it up, because guess what? It's more fun to be truthful about how bad I am at gaming than it is to be like, oh, well, this game is, and have an AI voiceover tell you exactly why this game is so good when it's actually so bad. Thank you so much and have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye. This has been a presentation of Alsatian Productions. Blah, blah, blah.